A landlord in Indiana who owned his property for more than 30 years learned an important lesson about taxes, government overreach, and bureaucracy when he tried to keep his rents low. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting article for you today, and it's coming out of Indiana. Now, I obviously don't cover Indiana very often because Indiana is not known as being a place that is, very pro-tenant, anti-landlord. But every once in a while, I do come across an interesting article, and it really goes to show you, what's changing in this country. So this article, it's actually covering a landlord. He's been a landlord for a very long time, okay? And he's kept his rents low, below what the market is charging. And just recently, he just got smacked in the face with the reality of the situation, okay? By him keeping his rent so low, he's actually hurting himself and making it harder, to stay in business. Basically, he's paying money out of his pocket so his tenants can live for cheap. And that's ridiculous, okay? No landlord should ever be put in that sort of situation. So, yeah, it's absolutely crazy. I hate reading articles like this, and sometimes it is an important lesson to learn, though, especially for the small landlords who think, oh, we can be good, we can keep our rents low. Well, there's a reason why you have to raise your rents, and this article is going to be going over a few of those reasons, okay? So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. For the landlords out there, do you raise rents on your tenants after they move into your property, or do you keep your rents low? I know that you're talking, you might have bought your property 10, 20, 30 years ago at a much lower cost, but you need to keep those rents up at market levels because you could be hit hard, like this landlord in this story I'm about to tell you really was hit hard, okay? He basically was punished, and now he's trying to play catch up, and that's a bad situation to be put in. So anyway, this article is coming from HeraldTimesOnline.com, and it says, landlord in city historic district gets a lesson in taxes and the cost of doing business. Yeah, and it's really, they say it's a lesson in taxes and the cost of doing business. It's really a story in bureaucracy, government overreach, and just the ridiculousness of all the different rules and regulations they put in place. Okay, so let's get into it. When LD Honeycutt retired last year after decades running a marina at Lake Monroe, he took over the job managing the rental houses and apartments he owns. For years, they provided a steady side income while a property manager paid the bills, tended to repairs, sought renters, and collected the rent. I didn't pay close attention, he said recently, taking a break from renovation work he's doing at the duplex rental he owns at 301 South Rogers Street. My accountant was opening the mail and paying the bills. This wasn't how I made money. When Honeycutt took over managing the rentals, he started paying attention and got a few big surprises. So yeah, this guy, he's a typical small absentee landlord, okay? Basically, he's got a job or a business in a different field, and he buys real estate on the side, okay? I do the same thing, okay? I'm not saying that I don't. However, he wasn't keeping track of the financials, and he wasn't managing his property manager in the way that he should have been managing them, and he ended up getting hurt because of it. So even if you are an out-of-state landlord such as me, right, you need to be looking at your financials every month, looking at, you have to pay attention, okay? You have to pay attention to what you're doing. Otherwise, you will get caught up. This is a business. Even though it's a side business for a lot of people, it is a business and it needs to be run as such. So you need to set time aside, every week or every month or, however often is necessary in order to keep your rentals and your business running well. One, the rents he was charging were far below market rate or market prices in the heart of Bloomington. The monthly rent for the South Rogers Street duplex, for example, totaled $1,300, $725 for the 3-bedroom side, and $575 for the 2-bedroom part. When he opened his 2023 property assessment and tax bill, he figured someone made a mistake calculating the value of the house and corner lot. He headed down to the assessor's office with the bill in hand and learned the amount, nearly double what it had been, was correct. property values had shot up all around the county. The value of Honeycutt's house and property at the corner of South Rogers and 3rd Street increased 97% from $148,000 in 2022 to $291,700 starting next year. The annual property taxes will double from about $3,500 to $7,000. He's filed an appeal. Yeah, that is a huge increase, okay? So he's going to about a $7,000 a year property taxes. So if you do simple math, right? So there's 12 months in a year, right? And you divide that $3,500 by those 12 months, and he's facing nearly a $300 a month increase in just what he's paying towards property taxes. That is insane. So by him keeping his rents low, now he can't cover the additional property taxes that he has to pay. So I don't know if he has a mortgage or not, or insurance, or other things that he has to pay based on these rental payments. But he said right there, these rents are way below what the market is charging. So yeah, he's basically screwed himself over by not paying attention. I asked them, what's going on here? What's happened to affordable housing in Bloomington? Then I looked into what the payment would be at the assessed value for a 30-year mortgage at the current interest rate, and it's $1,769 a month. I have been basically paying to have people live in the house. So yeah, he figured out, with the current interest rates, with a 30-year mortgage, with that higher property tax assessment, that he would be paying almost $1,800 a month, right? And it says here he's only taking in $1,300 a month from the rental income. So he would be paying, out of every month, he'd be paying $500 just so that the tenants can live for cheap. And yet, still, right, all the advocates, all the tenants' rights people, they will, why are you raising the rents? We need affordable housing. This guy even supports affordable housing. But the reality is, right, inflation hits everybody. Okay, landlords are not exempt. Our bills go up just like everyone else. Our utilities have gone up. Our taxes have gone up. The cost of financing has gone up. The price of everything, maintenance, capital expenditures, what we pay our staff, etc. Everything has gone up. Do not expect us to keep rents low just because you're greedy. That's right. The tenants are the ones who are greedy when they demand that we keep rents low, because they want to be the ones who benefit from the low rents, and they want to stick us with the bill, and that's wrong. Okay? And I've always said that, and I'll always believe that. So yeah, this landlord is learning an important lesson in all of this, okay? You can't be nice in this business, because you will get run over, you will get used, and you will be abused. Oh, let me skip down a little bit. I lost my spot in my rant. The house needed some repairs that included new windows, and he decided to do the work himself. The original ones are old and drafty, resulting in $400 gas bills in the winter for the larger apartment. I'll replace them with energy-efficient ones, Honeycutt thought to himself. He figured the heating cost savings would help offset the higher rent he intends to charge to be more in line with market rates. He didn't realize the scope of what he was proposing, and the regulations that sometimes become obstacles when a homeowner plans exterior changes to a house located in a historic district. He would need city approval to replace the windows. Yeah, that's right. So he wants to make the place more energy efficient for his tenants in there so they have lower bills, right? And guess what? Now he's got to jump through all the hoops, all the bureaucracy of one of these ridiculous historic districts, right? And the way these historic districts work is you have to use, materials that they approve, and you can only, use certain things because it has to keep that historic look. This is the reason why I would never, ever buy a home in a historic district. And I own older houses. I love older houses. I have 2 houses built in 1900 and 1 house built in 1920. Okay, so I like older houses, but to me, right, I like older houses that have been updated so that they are not obsolete, so that they, have modern features and amenities on the inside, but retain that old, beautiful, historic look on the outside, and maybe some of the, historic features on the inside that you enjoy. So, yeah, I hate this whole thing, and so there we go. Even in Indiana, this guy's got to jump through these bureaucratic hoops in order to upgrade just the windows in his property, and it could end up costing him double or more of what just replacing the windows with just generic windows would have been, right? And let me continue in the story because it's pretty interesting what he says down here. Gloria M. Colum Branya, Historic Preservation Program Manager for the city, sent him a list of historic architects around the country so he could choose one to study the house and make recommendations. I wasn't going to spend thousands of dollars to hire a special architect, Honeycutt said. The old house has 18 windows, none of them the same size. The house is historic because of its age and location in the district, not because it has grand features. I wasn't going to buy custom-made historic windows, he said. I wanted to put in energy-efficient ones to lower the heating bill and conserve energy. When Honeycutt bought the house for $45,000 in 1989, the Prospect Hill Local Historic District hadn't been established. The neighborhood got the historic designation in 1997, and it includes Honeycutt's 1880s duplex. So there you go, right? The guy basically got stuck in a historic district that, he didn't even realize he was part of. Okay, he bought the place that wasn't part of a historic district. So like I say about lots of these laws, rules, and regulations, right? They change the laws in the middle of the game, and it's not like they send a flyer out to the landlord saying, hey, your house is in a historic district, or hey, the landlord law has changed. No. Suddenly, the only time that you face this issue is when you're getting cited by the city inspectors, or when you're trying to make improvements, and all of a sudden you find out that, hey, I don't comply, and I didn't even know there was new rules in place. So yeah, this is a bad lesson to learn, right? But that's why this guy, he should have stayed on top of things. He should have been more involved in the business. I know that a lot of people think that being a landlord is a very passive activity, but there are still a lot of things that you should be doing with your properties to make sure that you just don't get, used and abused over time.